Accused of killing Beckstrom and gravely wounding Wolf is an Afghan national. 29-year-old Ramanullah Lankawal was one of the almost 200,000 Afghans admitted into the U.S. after the military withdrawal back in 2021. He underwent numerous rounds of vetting, starting as early as 2011 when he started working with U.S. intelligence agencies. Now in April, under the Trump administration, he was granted permanent asylum. In the wake of the shooting, the Trump administration is now putting the vetting process for Afghan nationals under intense scrutiny. All asylum decisions are halted, and all green cards issued to people from a list of 19 countries of concerns, as they're called, will be re-examined. These decisions are escalating fear within Afghan communities right here in the U.S. One group who helps Afghans who helped us during the war to relocate and resettle outside of Afghanistan. They're helping those Afghans. Sean Van Diver, the president of AfghanEvac, joins me now. Sean, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you being on.
Thanks for having us on today. I really appreciate it, Isabel.
Yeah. So what's happening here is one person did something heinous. These are the actions of one person. And it's being used to trigger this sweeping crackdown on immigration. What are Afghans here in the U.S. telling you about the shooting and this subsequent crackdown?
Sure. Well, listen, I'm hearing my inbox is full this morning from Afghans who are getting pulled off of planes, because it's not just all the things that you guys said. Late last night, Secretary Rubio, seemingly unilaterally, without consulting Congress or the courts that have said they have to keep doing this, has paused the special immigrant visa program and all visas for Afghans coming to the United States. This is unconscionable that the United States government would take the actions of one crazy person and ascribe them to an entire community. And obviously, what this man did requires accountability. We've got to identify the gaps. It doesn't seem like there was a gap in vetting, but it sure does seem like there might have been a gap in the domestic security programs that are meant to identify lone wolf shooters. Our hearts go out to the families, the Beckworth family who are grieving the loss of Sarah, and the Wolf family who are pulling for Andrew to get through this awful time. We hope he recovers. But we cannot punish an entire community for the actions of this one man.
I want you to listen now to what President Trump said Friday about Afghan evacuees after the Taliban seized control of the country back in 2021. Listen.
He went cuckoo. I mean, he went nuts. And that happens, too. It happens too often with these people. You see them. But look, this is how they come in. This is how they're standing on top of each other. And that's an airplane. There was no vetting or anything. They came in unvetted. And we have a lot of others in this country. We're going to get them out. But they go cuckoo. Something happens to them.
Yeah, except that's not true. They wouldn't be here if they weren't vetted rigorously. What's your reaction to what the president said there? You mentioned earlier that there was a gap. Walk us through what that vetting process is like. And do you think this was a failure of vetting?
I do not think that this was a failure of vetting, unless there's some sort of evidence to the contrary, which I'm sure the president would be saying if there was. But look, the president's just not telling the truth there. All of those folks were vetted. It took so long to get them on those planes because of the vetting. Then they went to a third country, got more vetting. Then they came here, went to an American military base, got more vetting. They were vetted continuously while they were here. This guy got vetted at each step in the application process, where he applied for both asylum and SIV after he arrived here in the United States, and then it was approved both times by the Trump administration, or in both cases by the Trump administration. If there's any gap, it's a gap in our mental health services and a gap in our domestic security policies, right? President Trump defunded both of those things, both the domestic security policy programs at DOGE, and President Trump cleared all of that out, all of the programs meant to keep us safe. And then they also defunded all of the psychosocial programs for refugees and new arrivals. Look, anybody who have seen the things that guy has seen would likely be struggling with some form of PTSD, or could be struggling with some form of PTSD.
And we do have reporting from sources that he was likely dealing with PTSD as well. And in terms of vetting, nothing came up.
Look, if a veteran had done that, then they wouldn't have thrown veterans out.
Yeah, senior U.S. official told CNN that in terms of vetting, nothing came up, that he was, quote, clean on all checks. Now, listen, the Trump administration, the president, has ordered a re-examination of green card status of migrants from 19 countries, including Afghanistan. So green card residents, these are lawful permanent residents of the U.S. These are people that are authorized to live and work here in the U.S. Do you think that was the right move? We're looking at a map now of these countries that are impacted.
No, I don't think it's the right move. That's a waste of money. We've already been doing that. And to be clear, the president announced that, or a policy memo came out on Friday that said that they were going to do it last Friday, not this past one, well before this incident occurred. Instead, we should reallocate that money to focus on real serious national security issues in our country, those domestic security programs meant to identify lone wolves, and on the psychosocial services that our country needs.
Sean Van Diver, thank you so much for your time and your work.
Thank you so much.
Well, President